Yeah, I've started here. Hi. We'll just wait a minute. We'll just check whether things are okay. Just give me a second. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Uh, Welcome to this session on QA strategy for CAT 2026. Wait, just check whether things are okay. Just give me a second. Thank you, everybody. Okay. So, good evening, everybody. I hope CAT 26 preparation is going great. Let's start. Let's start talking about what is your best plan for CAT 26. How do you crack the Q&A section from here onwards? I'm going to try and break the session in 2 or 3 parts. Obviously, I'll keep taking questions, and majorly the discussion will be around for students who have already done a lot of their syllabus. Uh, Basically, students who have already done most of their syllabus, say done 60-70% of their syllabus or even 100% of their syllabus, what should they do from here onwards for the next 130-140 days? And for the others, the ones who are kind of just starting, what should be their strategy? When should you write mocks and so on? So y'all are most welcome to keep asking questions down in the chat. I'm having a look at the chat, so y'all can ask your questions and we can keep taking questions accordingly. Okay, cool, everybody. And a lot of people had queries that with SimCat onwards will I be doing the video solutions. So I will be doing the SimCat video solutions from SimCat 7 onwards. So SimCat 7 onwards, I'll be taking up Quant for SimCat 7, and then maybe for some SimCats, maybe both the sections. Okay, cool, everybody. Okay, just give me a hi. Okay, completed with module 1 only till now. Somebody, okay. Great. Prachi saying completed module 1. Others can keep messaging this that where are they in their syllabus, how much have they completed, and so on. Okay. Now, when I say, let's first, as I told you, let's break it up into 2 parts. Let's take case 1, category 1 student, where this person has finished approximately 70% of the syllabus or more. Okay. 70% of the syllabus is that. Maybe 2.5 modules, maybe even 3 modules done, those category of students. Okay. Okay, Divyam, we'll talk about that also. Don't worry. Okay. So now, if you finished around 70% of the syllabus, obviously the remaining 1 month, 1.5 month will go into syllabus completion. But with that, you should also be looking at revising the older syllabus. Okay. Always, somebody saying audio is gone. Let me just check whether audio is actually gone. No, I don't think so. Audio is completely okay with my side. Okay. So now when I talk about, okay, let me just check this. Somebody saying I'm not audible. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Okay, just give me a second. People are saying I'm not audible. You'll have to just give me a second. Okay, from our side, the audio was okay. So let's continue. Yeah. So if you've close to around 70% syllabus, what should you be doing? Your first job is to obviously complete the remaining syllabus. Yeah, I will discuss those also, Rudra. Just wait, don't worry. Complete your syllabus in the next 1.5 month maximum. Okay. Keep revising well. Revise your old areas, especially arithmetic really well, and algebra, if not all chapters of algebra. See, I understand a lot of commerce students, when they see chapters like functions and all, they really are very fearful. Don't worry. Can you do at least arithmetic? I want you to do all of them. Okay. But algebra, I would like you to do linear, quadratic, and maybe at least maxima minima. I am not at all saying that functions is not important. Functions is also important. Remember that functions is also very important. But if you're fearful of functions, have not understood it too well, at least do linear, quadratic, maxima, minima. Somebody's got a good question. How do I revise? How do I actually go back and revise these topics? Let's talk about how do you revise a topic. Okay. So normally I say if you've done a chapter really well, and when I mean when you've done a chapter really well, I'm going to take the IMS pedagogy. If you've done that part, if you've done your pre-class, that is your concept videos. Have you done the concepts well? Now, what I would do if I was a student and if I was revising a chapter, I would revise the concepts for at least some 30 to 45 minutes. So I would put 30 to 45 minutes for concept revision. ज़्यादा नहीं, 30-45 minutes. Okay. Deboji, that's also a very good point. Should I revise all topics? I will talk about that also. See, that is why first initially I'm talking only about arithmetic and algebra. Okay, I will revise 30 to 45 minutes के लिए concepts. You have good concept videos. We have given you enough concept videos. Revise them. Second is your classroom material, which is your live class or your classroom material, the books which you have. Okay, go back and don't completely see the whole class again. No point seeing the whole 2 hour class again. I know most of you have the recordings, and if you're a classroom student, you don't have the recording. But if you have the book, solve maybe 10 questions from there. Revision ho jayega. Then we look at what? We look at our benchmarking test. Okay. We look at the two parts which we have after this, the practice exercise and the benchmarking test. If you haven't finished this earlier, this you have to do now. Very important. No question about it. All of these come with good video solutions. Between me and Param sir, we have created video solutions for all of these practice exercise and benchmarking test. Do them in detail. So Foodie Chotu, whatever that name of yours is, algebra is an important area. You will have to do algebra well. You can't skip algebra. Okay. So remember that. So always remember algebra is very important. So Avni, you're saying is syllabus completion the priority or retention the priority? For me, very frankly, retention. Because last module, I'm not saying it is not important, but if you look at the weightage wise, the last module has a least weightage in terms of CAT. Like if you look at permutation, combination, probability, all these topics are barely asked. Yes, I would love you to do logarithms really well. My favorite area, you have to do it well. Prachi, okay. In fact, this one part, I don't know whether you'll have heard me saying this before. Video solutions. Never look at the video solution directly. Always first try the question on your own. Then, if you don't get the question, look at the video solution only for say 20 to 30 seconds. Don't see the whole video. Look at a question. If you're solving one question, start the video. And if you feel that, okay, now I understood, I've got to start. Pause the video there. Try to do the question on your own. Only if you don't get it, then complete the video. Never look at the video like a movie. There's no point. Once you see the whole video and then you're going to solve it on your own, it has no meaning. So always look at the video for 20-30 seconds, pause the video, and then come back to it later. Palak, that's a very dangerous thing to do, leaving TSD in arithmetic. I will take up a marathon or a master class in the next few weeks on time, speed, distance. So, Palak, I hope that will help you revise that topic. Prachi, I hope I've answered your question. Pranjal, too early to worry about mock scores now. Don't worry about it too much now. Uh, Hence, it's not a bargain. You're not saying that. So, hence, he's saying, sir, can I do more of numbers instead of geometry? ऐसा नहीं है ना. It's like a food plate. You have to eat a little bit of everything. You need to do geometry also really well. At least, at least the triangles wala part. One or two questions every year are asked in the CAT paper till triangles. Yes, you need to know maybe circles also for it and a little bit of quadrilaterals also for it and so on. But even if you do till triangles in detail and then do geometry and circles and quadrilaterals a little bit, not too much in detail. If you're not comfortable with geometry, hence that is okay. Remember, this is only for people who are not comfortable with geometry. What I'm telling them is do lines and triangles really, lines, angles and triangles really well, and then post that just worry about the other topics. Do them a little bit upar se, so that you can attempt those questions well. That would be my suggestion. Okay. So somebody wrote a message and deleted it. I don't know why, but I think that was a good question. When do we start solving PYQs? Remember, PYQs in CAT are not like what you do in 12th standard exams. Okay. More or less, you are already attempting PYQ somewhere or the other. When you're solving your live class, your practice exercise, your benchmarking test, you're solving similar questions to PYQ already somewhere or the other. So very frankly, there is no such need to specially solve this. Okay. Ayush, that question I will not be able to answer today, but we will definitely have an answer for you at some stage. So, section test, but are you going to run out of material? The day you run out of material, it is going to be important. I don't think so you'll ever run out of material. Mhm. Now, one more thing. This is a very common question Sudhanshu has asked. Everybody listen to his question. And if you want to just read his question, it's a nice, interesting what he's saying. That, sir, I have done all the topics, but as soon as I go to a mock, I start finding the questions a little bit more difficult. Definitely, that is definitely going to happen. That is happening for two or three reasons. Definitely, the level of question in the mock is always slightly higher than the level of question in the book. That's case one. Second, when you're solving a chapter from a book or from a practice exercise or a benchmarking test, you're so sure the chapter is talking only about profit and loss. Suppose you're solving a chapter of profit and loss. You're so sure it's talking only about profit and loss. Suddenly, I can give you a chapter now which talks about profit and loss with allegations, with ratios, and with mixtures, and so many things in a test. In a mock, I can ask all these things together, and hence the questions get difficult, Sudhanshu. So that's also an important point, Sudhanshu, that you don't just solve one thing, you're solving too many things together, and that is why those questions are difficult. So obviously, you have to get used to it. Okay. Debojit, sir, can we skip any of the topics below? PNC, functions, trigonometry, since I'm a non-engineer. Debojit, in fact, those are the areas which I always tell that you can always keep them on the back burner. इसमें से ऊपर ऊपर से थोड़ा थोड़ा कर लो. PNC, just know how to solve the basics. If you get a very straightforward question, will you be able to solve it? That should be your first answer. Trigonometry तो नहीं करोगे तो भी चलेगा. Just do 30, 60, 90 theorem and 45, 45, 90 theorem from triangles. So you're able to do a heights and distance question. Otherwise, trigonometry is okay if you don't do it. Not to worry. At least not now. Maybe in September, October, if you feel that you're really got better at all other topics, you can then come back to trigonometry if you want. Functions, again, get used to it. As I said that, time, speed, distance, I'll take a session. Maybe I'll take a session on functions also. Try and give you some questions which, which you all can say, okay, let's look at this 25, 30 questions and say, okay, am I able to solve these 30 questions? Not getting into too many difficult questions of functions. Let me do this much at least that way. Okay. So, Manav, I'll come to that part. I will definitely come to the part where people who are starting in July or maybe even starting now with a new batch or so on. Okay. So important chapters. In fact, if you go to the IMS YouTube channel, last year I remember doing a video where I had broken up the weightage of each and every chapter. That video will definitely be there. Weightage of each and every chapter I had taken, every area wise. You should go through that video before you do your preparation well. Okay. So Dia has asked that. So Dia, the answer is for you. Last year I have done a video. I will try and get it put in the chat later, which video I'm talking about, where we did a detailed video on what is the weight, how many questions from each topic has been asked. Like if I look at weightage wise, time, speed, distance as the highest weightage. Okay. So that way, don't worry about anything else. You go through that video. It is like a 15-20 minute video. It will help you understand which topics you should do really well. Okay, Dia, I hope I have answered your query. Most important question. When do I write mocks? I think Rishiraj, no, not Rishiraj, Viraj has asked. Viraj Singh Chauhan has asked, when do I write mocks? You will start writing a mock as soon as you've at least completed module 1. If the first module is over, you will start writing mocks. You cannot wait. Okay. Initially, remember you have the live mocks also and you have the take home mocks also. So when you're done with module 1, you should start mocks. Initially, you should write less live, more take home. Take homes are always for your strategy. Yes, they are still there for practice of material. Content is there. Lot of people think, oh, take home mocks are very easy. Nothing like that. Take home mocks are exactly similar mocks like last year or last year's mocks. So initially you should write less live, more take home. Get used to the pattern, get used to writing a mock. Sitting for 2 hours continuously thinking, that is very, very important. Your brain really at the end of 1.5 hours starts, revolting. That whole ability to sit for 2.5 hours is a very, very important thing. So write more take homes tests. That will really help you, Viraj. So as soon as, Viraj, your module 1 is over, you should write mocks. Okay. And you can never wait till the end to complete your syllabus and then write mocks. Okay. Rishiraj is saying we have on the IMS channel only 22 to 25. Rishiraj, from what I am aware, I think we have all the videos from 2019 to 2025. 17, 18 are missing. But if you're saying I will still check, and within the next month, we'll have 17 to whatever, 17 to 25, all the videos on the IMS YouTube channel. Okay. So that, Rishiraj, is my promise. It will be done in the next 1 month. Hiya Vadwani, that depends on what level of syllabus are you at. If you're at module 1 or module 2, that cannot be your way of preparation. I think you are in one of those batches which is nearing the syllabus completion or has already completed the syllabus. Hiya, please let me know. Huh? Okay, so here saying module 3, module 4. So here that is a little bit too much. I don't think I would do that much. One take home, one pass cat, one sectional, one sim cat. Itna sara nahi ho paega. Here you can reduce that a little bit. Maximum 2 mocks in a week. Maximum initially. We are in the month of July now. Jab September, October aayega, tab we will discuss more. Do module 3 really well instead. Module 3 geometry is very, very important. So do that well here. Okay, I hope I'm answering everybody's question. If anybody feels I missed out their question, you can retype it. I'm right now at Uday's question. So can I skip functions from algebra and do linear, quadratic, logs, exponents and others? Yes, Uday, I already said that. As I said, I never believe in completely skipping a topic. I always say, can I do level A of every topic? Whichever topic is your worst topic, at least level A तो कर लो उसका. बाकी का बाद में देखेंगे. How much score in the mocks can be said as safe? or how much score we keep as target to achieve a good percentile in CAT. See, a score versus percentile, no. In fact, Prasad sir has recently made a video. You can have a look at that video. He's recently put a score versus percentile video. Okay. But that keeps changing every year, keeps changing with mock to mock. Like, I'll be very frank, I was just looking at one of the mocks, I'm not going to name them. I found the quant section very simple, right? In that, the cutoff is definitely going to go higher. Now, but if I compare it with some other mock which I've seen earlier, that mock can be very difficult and the cutoff will be lower. So it depends from mock to mock. So never judge yourself on a right score. Always judge yourself on a percentile. Okay. So someone who has been doing question solving, sometimes you realize that sometimes you realize that the steps to start was a basic part, how to deal with it. Uh, See, that will come. That's Keshul or whatever. Keshul, that will actually come through a little bit more practice. You start getting used to it. You know, you get to a level where you tell yourself, okay, अब मुझे समझ में आता है कि ये कहाँ से start करना है. I need to start from here or I need to start from there. Those are the important things you need to work on, Keshul. Okay. And as I said, that is why sometimes you need to see the video of how the mentor is solving it. Pause the video there and then do the remaining question on your own. That's okay. Okay. Uday. Uday, I already answered your question. Hensi. Hensi, if you look at number system, what I would do, first of all, never get carried away into very difficult questions of number system. Number system is an area, okay, everybody pay attention to numbers. Numbers is an area where people can make the most difficult sums. And there is a lot of fascination because the names are also so fascinating. Euler's theorem and that theorem and this theorem. Finally, if you look at CAT, okay, I was just looking at CAT papers recently. In the last 5 to 7 years, there have been remainder questions. Like if I'm looking at remainder questions, maximum 1 or 2 times. Okay, obviously across all the slots, means if it came in one slot, it came in all the 3 slots, but maximum 2 times it has been asked in the last 5 years. And those questions also were pretty straightforward one. Okay. Never is a question which is asked in CAT on remainders very, very difficult. Like 2008 ka bhi, if you remember the question, last 2 digits, 7 raised to 2008. What are the last 2 digits? Lot of people after they started learning last two digits of everything. But they didn't realize that this question did not even require that concept. After this was asked in CAT, all coaching classes, they decided to start teaching last 2 digits in detail. Uske baad CAT never asked last 2 digits. But the point is 7 raised to 2008 did not even require last 2 digits because 7 raised to 1. 7 raised to 1 is 7. 7 raised to 2 is 49. 7 raised to 3 is 343. And 7 raised to 4 is 2401, so 01. And the pattern continues like this only. Because of this 01, the pattern continues. And CAT did not ask you a last 2 digits question. They asked you a simple, actually last digit type of question. So all these things you have to understand. CAT is not asking very difficult things. Yes, there was a paper like CAT 23, which was very difficult. But that's okay. The cutoffs also were very low. Like 5 or 6 questions, they were very, very good to get, to clear your cutoffs. Okay, so Hensi, you should do numbers. I'm not saying no. For example, I would definitely do the first chapter really well. That is, types of numbers, because it helps you in all the other chapters. There are no direct questions on that chapter, but helps you in all other chapters. Then I would do HCF, LCM really well, because again, that also helps me in a lot of the chapters. I would do remainders, but the basic stuff, not too much detailed stuff, and so on. That's my suggestion, Hensi. Okay, so Hashray, regularly giving SIMCATs and sectionals and past papers, but I'm not able to analyze them properly besides completing syllabus and revising and practice. I'm not able to improvise a mistake. Okay. Analyzing a mock. Okay. Hashra, I'm taking your question and explaining this part to everybody. Analyzing a mock. Normally, obviously, you can't take more than 2 hours to write a mock. So you take 2 hours to write a mock, right? Now, the whole point is when you take 2 hours to write a mock, you should take initially at least the first 10 mocks or something. You should take at least 3 hours to analyze it. Now, what all do you? Obviously, we will create a separate video on completely how to analyze a mock. But let me just talk a little bit basic stuff. How do you analyze a mock? First thing, if I'm talking today only about quant section, okay, let's talk only about the quant section. I will always go through a question whether I got it right or wrong. Doesn't matter. Okay. Even if I've got it right, I just want to go through it once carefully and saying that, oh, did I not get it right by luck? I just marked something random and I got it right. And maybe actually I was on the wrong track. It's okay, you got lucky. Be happy about it. But a question which I got wrong, let's break it up into 2 or 3 parts. Part 1, I understood everything, but I made a silly error. Okay, I understood everything. They told us to find something. I found that. I did everything. Maybe some silly calculation mistake I made. That can be worked upon. In the test, if you attempt one question less, the amount of time which you will save and put it on all the other questions, your accuracy will go up drastically. Second mistake is, I did not understand only what they were talking about. I did not understand what they were talking about. They were asking me to go to say place A and I went to place B. Something else only I did. I did something random. So that's the mistake. What was the learning from here? Have a learning. I should have avoided this topic or this question. I should have avoided this question. And third, a very common mistake. I attempted a difficult question because it was from my favorite area. Never do that. Always, yes, it happens with me also. Doesn't happen with only all. If I look at a question of logs, I always feel like attempting it. मुझे लगता है कि logs is always doable, I do it. Or time, speed, distance, or percentages and profit and loss. I always tend to do such questions. But the point is, at your level, you'll have to judge the question, not only the topic. Yes, you can always have favorite topics. Nothing wrong with that. But don't force yourself to attempt a question just because it is from your favorite topic. So these 3 are the most common errors which students make. So you have to learn to improve on that. Okay. So Ashray, this will help you improve on your mistakes. Analyze your mock really, really well. Go through the questions. The questions which you did not get, go through them also very well. What was the things? Do you think you should have got them? So even after seeing a video, after seeing a video, you realize, yeah, either I would have got this or I would have not got this. Means you can look at the video and say, oh shit, I think I should have got this. I would have known I've done a similar question. And other thing can be, you look at a video and say, there was no way I would have got this. Even if it was taught to me, I would have not got it. Fair enough. Put them into 2 different buckets. The ones you should have got, work harder on them, work on the identification next time. And the ones which you have left it, great. Learn to leave them better. Okay, Hashra, and I've used this to explain everybody the same thing. Okay, 2025 marathon session is recommended for 26 if completed all IMS material. 100% Yagnik, why not? Nothing has changed from last year to this year in CAT. Okay, I did last year 3 marathons. So you can go through the marathons completely if you finish your syllabus. You can start doing them. We'll be starting masterclass in some time. You can go through those also at some stage. But keep practicing. You cannot wait. If you are one of those who has finished everything, it is not a bad idea to start PYQs also. Okay. Rudra. So for non-engineers who start from scratch now, please every detail. Advice 4.1. Okay. So let's take now a strategy for students who are starting now. What if you're starting now? Okay. One thing, if you are starting now, we are roughly in, say on the 15th of July, approximately. Okay. And CAT is roughly on the 29th of November. So you have August, September, October, November. You have approximately 4.5 months. Let's count 4 only. Okay. 4 months you have. Approximately 120 to 130 days. If you are looking at CAT very, very seriously from here onwards, you should be giving it your full effort. A total of 7 to 8 hours a day. is what I expect minimum. Okay, out of which 2 hours, most of the days will be your live class, and the remaining 6 hours will be your self-study. Always break up your time in this format. Whatever time you have, break it up in the ratio 2:1:1 to prepare for quant, verbal, LRDI. Okay, in the ratio 2:1:1. That means if you have 6 hours on day one, suppose day one, you have 6 hours. So what you do from day one, you will take up from the 6 hours, you will do 2 hours, 6 hours, you will do 4 hours quant, 2 hours verbal. Day two, 4 hours quant, or maybe 3 and 3, actually 3 hours quant, 3 hours verbal, better hai. And then 3 hours quant over here and 3 hours LR over here, and keep going ahead with the same flow. So automatically it comes in this ratio 2:1:1. Now remember one more thing. Every day when you solve, what should be your target? You have to look at, if I look at quant, you have to tell yourself, I need to solve in this 3 hours. I normally have a benchmark. I should be able to solve around 15 questions per hour. Obviously, initially it will be 10 when you're starting, then you have to move up your speed and move to 15 questions per hour. So in 3 hours, you need to solve approximately 40 to 45 questions. When you're solving LR, you need to solve around, in those 3 hours, you need to solve approximately 5 sets. And that should be your target on every alternate day, 5 to 6 sets. And same goes for verbal, 4 to 5 RCs and some 30 to 45 minutes of non-RC part. Okay. So that should be your daily target. Minimum this much, and this is bare minimum I'm saying. Okay, if you can put more time than this, great. So Shreya is saying I've done module 1 to 3 twice. What now? Shreya, have you finished the benchmarking test? Have you finished the practice exercise? And if that, then go on, move to the section test, move on to the extra practice material. We have LRDI booster, we have a lot of LRDI stuff. Start doing all that extra questions, start doing all that work. Okay. So master classes I will teach in all the batches. We will do master class in different batches, different ways. So the ones which will be done online, I will always be taking master class. The quant and most of the quant sections I'll take. Some of them LRDI I'll take. Sumit, that's your choice. I will not comment on that right now. But nothing is wrong. None of the material is bad. So if you are following some other portal and you're looking at practicing their stuff, they're not going to give you bad material. If you're comfortable doing it, please do it. Nothing wrong in that. So Kandar, very random question. I don't know what level you are today at. Where are you? How much have you finished? Maybe I'll take up more sessions like this where you'll give me a little bit more detail about yourselves. In fact, starting the coming week, I will be available every single day. Every once a week, every time at the same slot. That slot is getting decided. It will get decided in a day or two. And at a particular time every week, say every Friday, 5 o'clock in the evening or 6 o'clock in the evening, I will be available for 1 hour for all queries. And that time people can get a little bit more in detail of their queries, and so on. So it will be like instead of your one-to-one sessions, it will be like a many-to-one session. So, okay. Rishiraj, 72 is not a bad score. Why are you demotivated? Don't compare it with your profile. And as I said, don't look at the overall score. Look at your percentile. Tell me your percentile. What was the percentile? Okay. Divyam, Divyam, can you please retype your question? I have not started which material I need to refer. I don't what to MBA. I don't know. Divyam, please rewrite your question. Sir, in mocks, I feel the level of questions of algebra is much higher than the questions in the module. How to go about it? So, Tanmay, I completely agree. So, in fact, Bhushan sir recently took up a session on algebra, which I thought was a fantastic session. I will try and take up some. Param sir will take up a few. We will take up a few algebra sessions where, especially, those type of questions. I notice that students really get confused in a particular type of sessions where arithmetic mean greater than or equal to geometric mean has to be used. People are not able to use it well. Okay. So all these things you'll need to work on. And so for example, most of the time, I'll just give you a simple logic. If I give you xy is 36, okay, what is the minimum value x plus y can take? Minimum value x plus y can take. Now what happens now? Most of the time we have learned this only. How to do is just break up this 36 into two equal parts, 6 and 6. So 6 plus 6, 12 is the answer. Well, it is right, but if you know the right approach to do it, that is use maximum minimum, well, arithmetic mean has to be greater than or equal to geometric mean. If you can do that, all that stuff over here, it becomes much more easier. And then when you have to do a slightly more difficult question, you can still do it well. Okay, so that is why I was just telling you, Bhushan sir took a very good, interesting session on algebra. I think he's covered some 15, 20 questions, really well covered questions. Go through that really well. Okay. Heath, in fact, that's the most easiest question you have asked me. How do I revise concept? Just go through the concept videos. Okay. In fact, I would love you all to tell me in the next few days that if you feel that any concept video is missing in our list, I will make concept videos around that. And you just need to go through the concept videos. We've created those concept videos with a lot of effort, a lot of time taken. We've done everything in detail. Every single time you start a revision of a chapter, Heath, revise concept videos for half an hour. Obviously, second time when you do the same chapter, you can do it for 15 minutes, but revise the concept videos well. Okay. Prachi, I already spoke about this a little bit in detail. If you need later, after I finish this session, you can go back and look at that part. I spoke about in detail how to analyze the quant section of the SimCat. And I will, as I said, as I will be taking SimCat 7 onwards, I will be taking the video solutions. I will also be creating an analysis video, which I will take. I will talk about all these things from now onwards. Okay. Pranjal, how to analyze mocks, we'll do a separate video. But if you're asking me how much time should analysis take, it should take 3 hours. Simple. If you're not taking 3 hours, you're not doing a good job. Simple, period. 3 hours, it should definitely take, maybe more also. But if you're not taking that much time, then you're not doing it in detail. Yes, Yagnik, I already said that CAT 25 ka whatever marathon sessions we had done last year are definitely important even this year for CAT 26 students. Nothing has changed from CAT 25 to CAT 26. Okay. Obviously, we will do new marathon sessions. We'll do new questions this year, but that doesn't make the last year questions unimportant. Last year questions are also equally important. So module 3 is geometry. Okay. Devash is asking, can I leave module 3 for now? Devash, okay, everybody, this is for everybody. Geometry is one area which has the highest number of concepts. Okay. In fact, you'll see the concept videos ka pura list hai na, 150 videos are there in concept videos, maybe more also. I definitely remember when I started creating this concept videos, I definitely look a little bit younger also in that videos. Okay. I definitely remember the first videos which we had created was 30, 60, 90 and 45, 45, 90 theorem. So geometry is very, very important when it comes to concepts. So please go through your concepts really well. With the concepts, we've created some examples and then try to at least slowly solve level A. Don't leave it completely. So many questions are being asked regularly on these topics. I would not skip them. So Keshul, same thing. Go through the concepts first. Thank you, Devansh. I will be doing video solutions for the QA section for SimCat 7 and for SimCat 8, I'll be doing both the sections. Okay. So boundary bites, I would not want to look at uh, you know, any particular category right now. Start working on it. Start, everybody who's say based, not doing well at Quant. Quant, the section has 22 questions. Can you start with a small aim? Can I crack 4 to 5? If you have 40 minutes and you're talking about 4 to 5 questions, you have 8 to 10 minutes per question. Can I get 4 to 5 questions all correct? Very, very, very important. How many people think that this is possible? Forget everything else. Take your time, take 10 minutes to search pehle properly. Look at the 22 questions, take 10 minutes to search for all the questions. Go through each question properly. Select 4 to 5 questions, spend 6 minutes on each question and get them all right. Don't try only 6, 7 questions. Your problem is, most of the students, the problem is what? No, that y'all try too many questions, and because of trying too many questions, what happens is that you waste a lot of times on questions which you don't mark an answer to. So rather, if you were to first spend 10 minutes, and this is not for everybody, this is for the ones who are really at the base level now. 10 minutes, select 5 questions. Take 10 minutes to search all the 22 questions and decide, okay, these are the 5 easiest which I feel. And from those 5, try and get all correct or maybe 4 correct. Once you reach that level, don't worry whether it's a theta question or whether it's a MCQ question. Just because it is theta, I should attempt it is a wrong attitude. Yes, just because it's a theta, I should mark some answer is the right attitude. But just because it's a theta, I should attempt it is a wrong attitude. So that's one part I would work on. So select 5 questions like really well. Once you've selected 5 questions, you have around 30 minutes to solve them. I think you'll get all right. Slowly, slowly, as you move ahead, try to increase by one question. First, initially 5, then maybe after 15, 20 days, after 2, 3 mocks, 4 mocks ke baad, try to reach 6, then 7, and so on. Easily, if you go ahead with this pace, by the day of the cat, you'll be able to attempt 14, 15 questions, which will be good. Okay? That's the way I would look at boundary bites. Yagnik, I already answered that question. Rudra, I already spoke about this. I already said what should you do, when should you start the mocks. Module 1 ho jata hai, so you should start your mocks. That's the best way to look at it, Rudra. Okay, so Sarvaday is one of those who has completed the syllabus but not getting right questions. So Sarvaday, why don't you try this strategy which I just told you? Spend 10 minutes on selecting it, get 5 questions in those 10 minutes. So your first job should be only, after 10 minutes, you should tell yourself, okay, these are the easiest 5 questions. After that, you have 30 minutes to solve easy 5 questions. Don't you think you should be able to do them? And that is the way you keep improving 1, 1, 1, 2, 2 questions. Obviously, on the side, you'll have to keep revising. If you revise only arithmetic really well, like you do arithmetic really, really well, you have around 7 to 8 questions done. Post that, if you do algebra and geometry, not really, really well, but even if you do it okay, like 50% well, you will get another 4 questions. So, Sarvaday, that's what I would look at it. My first job would be to get 5 questions right, and on the side, keep polishing my arithmetic so well that I should not leave any arithmetic questions in the next stage. So, Mahisim, as I said, that as I will do the video solutions of these mocks now, I will talk about with every question the level of difficulty. We will discuss that in detail. At the end of the of those also, we'll create a video where we'll talk about the analysis, which questions you should have attempted, and from the p values, I look at the I will be looking at the data, and I will say, okay, how many people found a particular question C, and was it really C? All that I will do. So you can start keeping in touch with all these things, and I'm sure, Mahisim, you'll be able to get that. 100% Debojit, if you haven't done the practice exercise and benchmarking test, for me, you haven't completed the topic also yet. Okay, so remember that. If you haven't done these things yet, benchmarking test and practice exercise, you haven't actually completed the topic. So you should work on that also. Okay. I don't know why suddenly my chat just went ahead. I'm going back and looking at the chat. So just give me a second. Yeah, I was at Deboji's chat. Jix, sir, my profile 867. I'm non-ninja, BSc statistics, male fresher. How much I need for getting? That's a question you should always ask Prasad sir. Send a question to Prasad sir with your profile. He'll be able to be the best person to guide you. I am not the right person to guide you. But because you're a BSc student, you still fall in the science category. So even though you're non-engineer, you fall in the science category. Okay, so Muskan, selection of questions. I will take up one mock where we'll talk about exact selection. How do you select? So LMTC will be coming up, last mile to cat, where we talk about how to strategize. How do you make the strategy for your section and all that? Those things are very important, Muskan. Select questions. You're able to reach only 10 to 15 questions because you're going question by question and attempting each question and looking at it in detail. No point. First, spend around 7 8 minutes only selecting questions and then go ahead, Muskan. So Muskan, when you look at the video, no, it's okay if you look at the start, but learn how I or Param sir or anybody else is looking at the question, and we are deciding that whether this was a doable question or not. That's how you look at it. Samruddhi, why would you do that? Such a nice, simple topic. Simple interest in compounders. I would want you to go through it very well. I think it's a very doable topic, and the questions asked in CAT are very straightforward from this topic. So please do that topic, Samruddhi. I would not want you to miss it. Sudhanshu, how to take the my plan with you? I don't know whether I'll be taking them, but if I take them, I will try and take a few. But if I take, slots will be open. I'll let you know. Debojit, I've already answered your question. Sudhanshu, I've already answered. Huh. So, Adarsh, since you already had a 96 percentile last year, the advice is always to go backwards. Okay, me and Prasad sir speak a lot about this, going backwards, going from mocks to books. So write more mocks, Adarsh, and as you write more and more mocks, you will realize where you are faltering. Analyze the mocks in detail. Sometimes when we analyze a mock, only then you come to know that what it is actually telling you. Are you actually missing out on something or so on? Like, for example, I told somebody simple interest compound interest is a very easy topic. But when I actually solve the mocks, I might be missing out questions on that topic. So go through that, then go backwards to the topic. Maybe do some topics really well in detail last year, which you had not done. If verbal was your issue, then read a lot more. You still have time. Don't worry. Read general stuff. Okay. Read generally take advice from your verbal mentors and read general stuff. And once you start reading more general stuff, your reading improves. That's my advice. Prachi, not even three correct is not important. I want to know how many did you attempt. So exactly what I've been saying from so long, Prachi. I want you to follow this strategy. I want you to select 10 minutes, make 5 questions and solve them. That's your aim also, Prachi. Pratik, sir, any suggestions for self-preparing students? Pratik, nice. I like self-preparing students, but I need to know what your background is. What have you already done? Have you prepared? There is enough free material on the YouTube. You go to 5 different channels. I will not name them today, but you go to 5 different channels. Just follow them. There is enough free material available on the internet for you to solve. So nothing to really worry about. Yes, but even if you're self-preparing, you will need a test series, is my advice. That's okay, Neha. So Neha, if you are leaving your job, resigning, remember you need to put that 8 to 10 hours every day. Whatever time you were going for work, all that hours have to, Neha, come back to cat prep. And once you're putting, even for 19 weeks, it's okay. This 19 weeks, if you're going to put 8 to 10 hours every single day. So my advice over here is, study for 6 days, and on the seventh day, just do a recap of what did you study for 6 days. So make your plan for 6 days. The seventh day is a recap. Seventh day can also be whatever plan you made that was maybe incomplete. So the seventh day can be for that, or whatever else you need the 7th day for. Just maybe keep the 7th day a little bit lighter than the 6 days. So study for 6 days very seriously. 7th day, if you've done that really well, you can always give yourself that extra time on 7th day and say, okay, I'm going to relax a little bit for a few hours, 4 5 hours. I'll relax, maybe watch a movie, relax something, do something different, and so on. Okay, all those who think that they need to study for 7 8 10 hours, I know it is very difficult in today's day and world, But very frankly, you all need to come out of social media. And I know you all know most common two problems are either uh, Instagram and YouTube. I don't think so. Netflix and all that is such a big problem nowadays. But Instagram being the biggest culprit, I would say, you need to come off it for the next maybe 19 weeks, as somebody said. Okay, Neha. So Divya, that's a good strategy, but it depends how much have you already done. If you're starting now, studying for 2, 3 hours every day and studying 6 hours on the weekends might not be enough. But yes, if you had started this 6 months back or even 4 months back, then it is still doable. But if you're fresh starting and are going to study only for 2, 3 hours every day, it will be a little bit difficult, Divya. That's my suggestion. But you could be brilliant and maybe you could capture a little bit more. Sometimes concentrated 2, 3 hours can do much better than uh, vaguely putting 6 hours. Muskan, I already spoke about that. Debajit, I already spoke about that. Okay. So, Tanisha, nothing wrong with that. You need to take some time off and you need to do that uh, because you maybe not done maths for last 4, 5 years. You will take time, but that's okay. Nothing wrong in that. Even a person like me, if I'll tell you, I'll give you a very simple thing. If for 1 month I stop solving questions, after 1 month, if I come back, Tanisha, I will take that day or two more to get myself in that groove. So always people will take time. Yes, Naman, I already said that. Okay, guys, I think we've taken enough questions. I don't have enough time now. We're nearly. Hmm. Okay, I've spoken most of the things, most of the questions are repeat now. So people, I'm just reading the questions on my own. Most of the questions are repeat. Yeah, Prachi, concept video is the pre-class video, what we have on our portal. So people who have got 2, 3 hours daily and if they're starting their preparation now, they'll have to ask themselves, will they be able to cope up? I think it will be a little bit difficult. I agree, Viraj, but depends where are you already on. If you have already finished, say 2, 3 modules, then it's not a bad idea. It's okay. But if you're starting fresh, difficult. So all working professionals, there are 2, 3 working professionals who have asked the same question. That sir, we get only 2, 3 hours on a weekday. Very frankly, if you have started 4 months back, that was not a bad strategy. But for somebody who's starting today and also working, 2, 3 hours a day might not be enough. I don't think so. It will be enough. Okay, but it's not that people have not made it with 2, 3 hours a day. People have made it, but that all depends on how your level is. How are you at maths originally? How are you at English originally? There are some people who, even if they've not prepared for CAT, but they've say prepared for JEE or something earlier, and because of which their maths is very good, then that makes a hell of a difference. And or some people who have been voracious readers earlier in life, for them verbal becomes that much easier. So it all depends on your level at what you are starting, and everybody starts at a different level. But please don't make that as an excuse because everybody needs to reach the same place. Okay, so that's it more or less. I think I'll take a this. We are nearly closing to 1 hour. As I said, I will be there every week, once at least a week, to answer queries. People can keep us, keep following the channel. Whether you're an IMS student, not an IMS student, doesn't matter. You're most welcome to come and ask your queries. I will take a lot of sessions, some marathons like last year, which we did. Okay. So, Shashank, 12 hours a day is really, really unrealistic. But if you can do it, nothing wrong with it. Yes, Debujit, I'm back on IMS. Okay. Few other questions, which maybe what I'll do is I'll try and answer them on the chat later once I'm free. I'll try and answer them on the chat. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I hope, yes, Debojit, I hope people are happy that I was able to answer their queries. Maybe I missed some people's query, but So heat, I already told that part. So some of you are asking questions which I've already answered earlier. Maybe you can just go through the video again one more time and look at the things. Most of the quant revision part I've done that we've done it and I've explained how to go about it. Again, I was just discussing with Prasad sir, maybe in the next couple of days we'll come out with a video around 120 days to CAT, how to revise quant. We'll come out with a video for around 15 to 20 minutes. We'll give you a lot of details. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Please don't ask more questions. It's embarrassing for me to not be able to answer them. Please don't ask more questions. We'll come back to questions next week also. Keep studying hard. I'm here only. I'll be answering questions every week now. As I said, maybe initially, if you'll feel, maybe twice a week. So I'm here on Tuesday, maybe again on Friday, Saturday once, and then again maybe next week. Next week onwards, we'll make it once a week types. I would not want to skip logarithms. Okay. Bye, everybody. Have a great evening. Okay. Bye bye, everybody. See you. Neha will definitely try, maybe put as a weekend so that some more working professionals can attend. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the warm welcome, everybody. It was really heartening to hear the welcome. I'm really touched, I'm really, really touched. Thank you so much.